This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome to this quick little vlog of mine to show off my unboxing of my PS4 Pro today. I picked it up on the button at 10 o'clock at the shop when it opened and dashed home, and as I was about to unbox it, I thought, why don't I just do a bit of recording while I do it, film myself unboxing it, and try and show you guys the comparison between the PlayStation 4 Pro and the launch day PS4, which is the one that I am replacing it with, which I still have ownership of at the moment because I've sold it to a friend, so it's packed away, ready to go to him. So I thought I would lay the two side by side. You'll see that, and you will see it in position in comparison to the original Xbox One. So, and alongside maybe just spotting any differences that I spotted with little things inside the box, perhaps. So the pictures and everything will be going on behind me as I'm rambling away. I don't have any fancy tables and all this sort of stuff to unbox things on, so I just did it on the rug. Thank you, as you do. So you'll see me just going through the box, taking all the pieces out. The things that I'm laying out are obviously the power lead, the HDMI lead. There's a little lead to connect your controller. Actually, the controller connection lead, the USB lead for the controller, seems to be a little bit longer than it was with the PlayStation original, for the PlayStation 4 original. And the little earbud. Did I just say that twice? I might have done. So there wasn't a huge amount different in the box, but what I did notice, two things I did notice was, and I will show up footage, I'll in the order in which the footage comes up, I'll decide after I've recorded this, but each of the bits I talk about, I will give you little close-ups of. So one thing I noticed straight off the bat as I was about to connect it up, after I'd done the unboxing, was that the power lead now has a thick power end to it that plugs into the back of the PS4 Pro. So the Pro actually has if you imagine the power supply unit that's in a standard PC, or indeed the Xbox One possibly, it's got the thick 3-pin connector for the power at the back, not Sony's standard little 2-pin one. And that's the first time I've seen Sony do that in a very long time. I'm pretty sure that 2-pin connector was bog standard in the PS3 and even possibly the PS2. So that was quite surprising when I saw that. It's not a problem, and it's obviously to do with the extra power that it is pushing out, and more than happy to have that. And it doesn't make any difference. There's no power brick or anything. It just connects straight back into it, just like it would on a PC box or anything else. So that was one little thing I noticed that was interesting. And after the event, again, I was replacing I've got a little stand where I keep my two controllers charging, a little charge stand. And one of those is barely used. I've only used it a couple of times, a little black one. And that's going with the PS4 that I've sold. So I took that out, and I just happened to be holding the other controller and realised that actually the colours are minutely different. But on the control pad and on a couple of other places, as you'll see from the close-up I give you, the D-pad buttons are actually grey, like a dark grey instead of black. So they've kind of done a two-tone thing with the black controller. Now this is the new controller, remember, that has the light bar shining through the touchpad. So if you are you can actually see what colour you are if you're multi-playing in the same room with someone, which the old one, you have to tip it up to see that you were blue, orange or indifferent. So I mean, I'm probably not going to dive straight into that controller because I've still got my nice blue one that I bought, and it's, I don't see any reason. I don't need to see what color I'm playing as necessarily. Although these things do flicker in certain games, like in Tomb Raider and stuff. The colors flicker and change when you're using torches and flame torches and stuff like that. So they do have an effect on general gaming, but I'm more than happy using the blue one. So it will sit charging away and be my spare controller. Or, mid-game sometimes if the controller runs out of battery after a number of hours of playing, I can quickly swap over to that one. So yeah, so that was it. So I just noticed that those colour differences were there. Now that may well have been the case with more recent controllers, but because I haven't bought a new black controller for a long time, then I'm not sure whether this is just something that's been done ages ago and I've just noticed it. But I thought you guys might be interested in seeing it. Now, and finally, the last piece of footage I will show you, as I mentioned before, is it in situ so that you can see the size difference between the Xbox One as well, which sits at the bottom of my stand for everything. So there you are. I was pretty pleasantly surprised at just how comparative it was to the original PS4, because it was a great size, and it really, like, I've shown you in those images, and all of those images I've put the tail of both of them level so you could see just how much longer or whatever it was, and it's a minute difference in both length and height, so it still looks really sweet in place. It looks really nicely designed. Personally, I've always been more of a fan of the rounded edged PlayStations. I'm not a big fan of jagged sort of shapes and stuff. It's just a personal opinion, so I'm pleasantly happy. Well, I'm pleasantly happy. I'm not surprised, but I'm pleased that this is now a rounded edged type PlayStation, because I loved, actually, up until this point, I still preferred the look and feel of my slim PlayStation 3, which wasn't the last iteration of the PS3. It was the really sort of nice, classy looking one with all the rounded edges, the slim version. And I still have it, and I'm still it still kind of was my favourite looking console. But now that I've got this one, I really love this. It's really nice. It looks nice. It's got a softer feel to it in position. The colour was surprising because they haven't gone with a... Although I think it said jet black on the on the box, it doesn't seem to be jet black to me. It looks almost more of a very charcoaly type black. It's almost a greyish tinge to it. So yeah, I really love it, and I am much more of a fan of this shape than I was with the original PS4. But it's just my personal opinion. I loved it. I loved the shape of the PS4, but I love this more. So I'm not downing anything. I'm just saying that I like this shape. So I really love it in position, really like it. So it's all ready to rumble. That was all I noticed, by the way. There was nothing else out of the ordinary that I spotted in there. It was all the standard things in the box that you would expect, including a HDMI. I think I might not have mentioned HDMI. So finally, before I go off and start playing, the restore of it from the pen drive was just as simple as I'd imagined. I remember in one of my previous vlogs, I bought a pen drive of 32 gig. I put all of my saves, all of my picture captures onto that pen drive using the backup feature on my old PlayStation 4, and I tested rebuilding it and restoring it, and that was all fine. So last night I did another backup onto that pen drive of my saves and my pictures captures, and that was ready for this to restore. So once I'd gone through the basic setup on this, all I did was shove the pen drive in, go to restore in the settings, and within, I think, about 6 minutes, everything was restored to how my PlayStation 4 was before I did that. It doesn't save things like the new feature of creating folders and all that sort of stuff, so you need to do those again. But everything else is restored, your profile, all your saves, all your game captures, and all that sort of stuff. If you have a much bigger pen drive or hard drive, you could have backed up all your applications as well, but I don't see the point, because it's probably quicker to download them, or in my case, because I always buy hard copies, just throw them in and install them again. So there you are. So that whole procedure was dead simple, and I was up and running within minutes. The basic usage of it so far, it's in the background there. I've installed the games that I'm going to play today, and there's just still 700 gig of space left. I mean, that's just awesome, because each of these games were about 40 gig, with the exception of Tomb Raider, which was surprisingly is like 23 gig or something. I was like, wow, because that game looks amazing on the Xbox One, and it's supposed to look even more amazing on this, so I'm quite surprised it was that small. Maybe because it's a linear type story, it's not quite as open as the other games I've got, possibly, but I don't know how they've managed to do it at that size. So the speed of the menu is what I noticed about the old PS4 is when you loaded a whole load of games onto it, when you sort of spun through all the games quickly, it did kind of have a little jutter after you'd got a lot of stuff on it. That doesn't seem to be the case on this. It's just bang, bang, bang. Everything's really quick. I mean, I am noticing the extra power in there just by using the menus and everything else. So I know that's not much, but it's nice. It's just a nice It's just a nicety. You don't feel like anything's struggling or whatever. But bear in mind, they've put an extra gig of standard RAM in this to help with processes like the menus and such like, as I believe. So that will all come into action for that. So yeah, on the sound, so far, even when I put discs in, it is quieter than the original PS4. I've heard people say that it isn't, but it is. Certainly from mine. Not that it. I mean, mine was loud when you initially put the disc in and it installs. It was fairly loud. You get a big buzzing noise as the disc kicks in and so on. And every now and then you'd get a big push out of air and all that stuff. Now that could happen with this when I've started playing these games, see how intensive they are. But so far it's deathly quiet. I've barely heard anything come out of it. The loudest noise I've heard was the CD drive, the Blu-ray drive. And as I say, it was more of a quiet buzz than a louder one. So yeah, really happy with the sound on it as well so far. I'll keep you posted on that. Now finally, before I go off, I'm dying to go and play it. Wait, shut up, Steve, and just go and play it. So, slight change to what I said last night about what I'm going to post up first, because... Quick recap. I said I was going to do Rise of the Tomb Raider, Skyrim Remastered, and Deus Ex. All of these games are pro-supported. And I was going to do them in that order between these 2 days that I've taken off, and maybe even more at the weekend. But a couple of episodes on each of those just to show you how they play, how they look. However, when I went to pick up the PlayStation 4 Pro, I said, what offers are on? They showed me a list, and it so happened that for £20 more, just £20, people, it was a bargain. Don't judge me. Dishonored 2 was only £20 if I bought it with the PlayStation 4 Pro, and I thought, shut up and take my money and throw it in the back. So, because this just launched today, although I think you can only purchase it today if you buy it with the Pro, there's something, the guy behind the counter was saying something about the dates. But anyway, I'm going to throw footage of this up for you first, because there's probably less of this kicking around the intraweb on YouTube than there is of the other three, because they've kind of been available for a bit. So I'm going to try and do a couple of episodes of Dishonored 2 for you, and then I'm going to fire into either Tomb Raider or Skyrim. I may get an itch for... we'll see what happens. We'll see how I feel after I've done this. And if it doesn't come to you today, I will get a couple of episodes up today without any doubt of at least Dishonored, and I will... wake up tomorrow morning, I will have a little bit of breakfast, and I shall sit down and not move and just record more stuff for you to throw up on the channel, and I will talk as I'm playing so that we can feel close and special together. Alright, I'm going to shut up, go away, and enjoy the hell out of this thing. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you in this little vlog and show off of the unboxing of the PS4 Pro, and I will see you guys really soon later on today with some footage from it. You guys take it easy. Bye.